Hello and welcome back to HRT Month 6 or Hormone Replacement Therapy Month 6 update. Now, I just want to start off again by thanking everybody for showing their support and their love for these videos. It really makes me feel very happy that you guys are loving them and hopefully they're helping you out in some way, either with your transition or understanding someone else's transition. Now, this month, there wasn't a huge lot of changes. There was a little bit, but I'm going to be doing a recap of all 6 months, and at the end, I will tell you what has happened this month. But we're just going to do a recap as it is half a year, and I just want to recap what's been going on. I have the notes written on my phone, so I will have to refer to them since it is 6 months of information. So, let's start off with month 1. So, the first thing was my emotional state had changed. I never cried at movies. People told me, you'll cry at this movie. Never happened. I cried at one movie before Hormones, which was Inside Out. After I started Hormones, I cried at 3 movies that month. I can't remember them all right now, but it was 3 movies in 1 month. And it was just little tiny things. It's like, oh, that's nice. I cried. Even if it was just a tear, I cried. So that is a change that will happen. That one is almost guaranteed to happen. Maybe not your first month, but it will happen. Number 2, nipples. Nipples get very sensitive, and you will notice this. If you hold anything against you, if you have anything brushed up against them, shirts will be so sensitive. You will notice this. This one was one that I was told about. This and the next one, they sort of go hand in hand. First one was sex drive had lowered to almost non-existent. Now, this could be due to 2 factors. One, definitely the hormones. The hormones have definitely affected the sex drive. But number 2 could also be being in the wrong body for sexual activities, which, if you're not comfortable with your own body, you're not going to be really comfortable doing those type of acts. It's just the fact of the matter. For most people, I'm guessing, some people might just push through it because they still want to, but I am one person that cannot really get over that. Now, to go along with that, erections for me in my first month, gone. Almost completely gone. You will know in my first month, this will happen, this is due to hormones. You will no longer get random erections, ever. It may not be your first month, but a random erection will go away. If you are aroused in any way, you can possibly still get them. It is definitely possible, but random ones you will not get. So if that was a big problem for you, you won't have to worry about that. And you will be able to wear more clothing opportunity due to this factor, I have noticed personally. Next is softer skin. Now, this one's probably more noticeable if you work a physical labor job. You will notice the softness in your hands and stuff more than if you work a desk job or something. It just, you'll notice it. It's hard to explain how much softer it gets, but it does get much softer. And yeah. Last thing on this month 1 was body hair grew back slower. I was someone who was shaving all my body hair before starting hormones, and after starting hormones, I just noticed, oh, that's gone. That's not back already. So yeah, body hair will grow back slower. So that is something to look forward to whenever that starts happening if you are someone who shaves your body hair. If not, that's completely up to you, but it is something that you will notice. So that's month 1. If you want more detail, go back to HRT 1 and you will get more information in there. Month 2. The hair on my head, when I record this, I had much longer hair touching my shoulders. So, yeah. But it is still silky, smooth, and softer. And if you have long hair, you will notice it is a lot lighter in weight than before starting hormones. At least for me, that is something I noticed. My hair is still soft, silky, and smooth, but obviously there won't be a whole lot of weight for me now since it is a lot shorter. So if there was a lot of weight, that'd be kind of concerning. Next on the list is body hair for me. That's probably more helpful for someone with darker hair, but for me, I noticed my body hair got softer, smoother, and lighter in color. Um, so even if I missed a few days, it still wasn't that noticeable from a distance. So it wasn't like too, like, I gotta maintain this every day, keep an eye on it, make sure it's under control. I didn't have to do that, which puts a lot less stress on somebody who is going through these type of changes and wanting to present in their true identifying form. Next on the list is skin sensitivity all over the body. That was difficult to get through since anything, any part of the body, weather, wind, cold, hot, affected the body. Just super sensitive, could not do anything that you would be like, something's going to touch me, something's going to brush past me. Just super sensitive. That's not something I know if everyone experiences, but that is definitely something I experienced, and it was really weird and awkward. Next on the list is, we are down here, right? With the sensitivity, my sides got super sensitive. Like, I believe I noticed this when my partner was giving me a back scratch and she went onto my sides and it was just unbearable. No, you have, yeah, stop. Which was weird since like that's never happened before. And I tuned this to 2 factors. 1, the hormones, obviously. 2, this was the time that my hips were going more narrow or my waist was going more narrow and hips wider. So it was a changing part of my body at that time, which would explain why I was more sensitive, since it's not sensitive anymore, and just like any other part of my body. So that is something you may experience during that change of your hips. So just keep that in mind. Next is we are here, right? This is something I didn't have a whole lot of issue with before starting, but after starting, I noticed that there was a little bit of a change, which is acne level will go down. So if you have acne and you're worried that it will affect your looks and stuff like that, don't worry. It will still be around if you are prone to acne, but if you're not very prone to acne, it will go down. It will go down regardless, but if you never really experience acne, you'll never experience acne. Maybe one a month or whatever, but like I've not experienced any in quite some time. None that I'm like, oh, this is affecting my looks. None on my face for sure. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. If that is something you're worried about, it will be something that you will not have to worry as much about. Next is my breasts were filling out bras more often. Now, before I started hormones, I was wearing bras as a comfort thing. I was wearing them all the time, even in bed, which I heard you shouldn't do, but I was doing it because it just was a comfort thing, and I want to be as comfortable as long as I could. But yeah, since they started filling them out, I was like, this is okay. Like, this is comfortable. And yeah, it just made me happy to see that they are filling out bras. And it's just like, yeah, this is what should be happening. It was great. Next one is nipples were extended and puffy. Now, I don't know if that's a cisgender woman thing that happens, but it definitely happened to me. And it was a bit concerning. That's how they were going to look. They did go down to a reasonable size. But yeah, it was just like, what is going on? This was not what I was told about. But they did go down, and they are much more natural now. Next was right. My breast, which I was told was something that could happen due to hormones, they were lactating. Which is something I was not expecting to happen in 2 months. Since before, I don't believe I had the ability to do that. But I did, and I do now. Yeah, my breasts were more sensitive, so I wasn't wearing a bra after I got off work, and I was just putting on a hoodie or t-shirt, and I could feel 2 wet spots where my nipples would be on the inside of the shirt. And at first I thought I'm not drying off enough when showering, but nope. I noticed it was definitely that. And I would recommend, if you are experiencing this, don't wear any white shirts. It will definitely show through if your shirt is thin enough. I don't own many white shirts, so that wasn't an issue for me, but I know it could be an issue for other people. So that's month 2. Again, if you want more information, you can watch month 2 update and you will get that information. Month 3. Sensitive hips, gone. No more. And not since then. Bruises and cuts will stay a lot longer. I healed fast growing up, but now bruises and minor cuts stay around for a very long time, and major cuts stay around for a lot longer. I experienced that one from when I hit my thumb with a hammer. That was quite a while until that one lasted, like a month or so. So, yeah, if you're doing something physical and it does have cause for injury, you will heal a lot slower due to hormones. Not sure when, But if you notice that they're taking longer, that is why. Next is periods, just emotional wise for me though. I know people will tell you that you cannot experience periods as a trans woman. That's just wrong. You can look it up. You'll find all the information you need to that you can experience periods as a trans woman. I have known this because I have and my partner has. I got lucky that mine are just purely emotional, but you can get headaches, mood swings, cramps, all that as a trans woman. And some people will never experience it. And if you never have to experience any of that, great. But I have experienced month 3 and a bit forward emotional side of hormones. So that is something that you may want to keep in mind. If you're being very emotional, probably don't go into a public setting. If you can control where you go. Because I was crying during this time and I could not stop it. I could not control it. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. And mine just flipped on like a switch. So, if that happens, try and not interact. Depending on your type of period. You may be completely fine though. Some people never experience it. Next one is this month. If I look down while getting dressed, I could actually see my breasts now. They were a physical thing I could see and visualize and just be like, oh, I can see them now. This is amazing. This is great. This is what I want. It's just, that's something that once you see, you're like, wow, this is actually going forward at a pace I want. Next one was this one. My breasts, the nipples were sore and sensitive. Now this is a thing while working labor jobs, you will have things press up against your chest so much that you don't even notice until you're on hormones and you're at the sensitive part. I cannot express how much pain it was going through this. And it would just be like a stabbing pain into your chest. And it could last 10 minutes. Mine was lasting an hour at a time. It was so bad. That's not to scare you about hormones. I wasn't told about this, so I don't know if that's a normal thing. But it was just for bursts of time, and it hasn't happened since. Like that one bad day. Maybe like, but nothing really to concern yourself about. So just keep that in mind. It's nothing horrible. And that is the end of month 3. Again, it's a whole update video for month 3. If you want to go watch that, it's there for you to get more information on those topics I talked about. Month 4. So month 4, I didn't have a whole lot of changes on month 4, but month 4 was when I had to see my endocrinologist again. So this was a different person from my first time, and I went in, did all the physical tests, and my estrogen levels were at half of what they wanted to be, but my blocking of testosterone were very low. So I was developing, but at a slower rate. So they doubled my medication on month 4. So since month 4, I've been taking double the amount of estrogen that I was. And as you just heard, I got all those updates and changes before doubling my amount. And they said doubling it will increase your breast development growth. However, it will also make your breasts more sore. Now, I haven't really experienced that sore breasts since then because they were very sore and sensitive at the start. I feel they weren't that bad because they had developed a bit, which is probably the worst part since they're fully growing in and stuff. So that didn't really happen. That's basically month 4. There's a whole video on what I had to do for that. If you've never gone to endocrinologist meeting after getting your hormones, I recommend watching it just to know what you could go through. I will mention when I went for that, you have to do a blood test. When I did blood tests in the past, I could get in and just leave. This time, drawing blood really affected me. Had to sit down for 20 minutes. Almost felt like I was going to throw up. Everything. I recommend go watching that if you are going to meetings and having to get blood work before going. Just to be safe and bring something to bring your levels back up after. Definitely recommend, and I was told to do that when I brought it up at my meeting. So, month 5. This is what I clarified as my stable month. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Things were quite leveled out. And yeah, I was sort of worried that it was due to the medication that changes weren't going to happen. But that's nothing to worry about. Changes were happening. Right. This is also the month that I noticed, more than any other month, that my breast moved up and down, going on stairs, at work, I have to drive a forklift sometimes. I noticed that they were moving then, and just anything that you know that you go up and down, you will have your breast bouncing at some point. Again, these are not to say these will happen these months. This is just for me, but these will happen at some point in time. And yeah, so that is something that also made me really happy to see that, like, wow, they are actually moving and not just a stationary part of my body now. If you want to watch that, I also did a whole period rant in that video, reacting to some comments I got saying that you cannot get periods. So if you want to watch that whole rant, it's in month 5. And now month 6, the month I'm on now. So month 6, I've noticed 2 things. One was when I was washing my face in the shower, and I put my hands up to do that, my breast actually hit the lower part of my arm, and I could actually be like, whoa, that is nothing I thought would happen this soon, or that I thought would happen at all. But it was a great feeling knowing that they have developed to that point where before you wouldn't feel anything, and now you're like, whoa, that's closer than I thought. This other one was a bit of a shock to me. I shrunk an 1.5 inches. I was 5'6". I'm now 5'4.5". That is something I was told could happen, and it did. I don't know what will happen again, but it has happened over the course. I don't know if it was happening the entire time or what, but I have shrunk an inch and a half. That is something to keep in mind. If you're tall or short, this may happen to you. So just be prepared for that in the case that it does happen. But yeah, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this recap. If you want any more information on any of those months, you can go back and watch each individual month. If you want that period rant, that's month 5. If you want the HRT meeting, that's month 4. And the other ones are just the updates that I talked about. So, if you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm loving the support you guys are showing, and it is just making me so happy to see the reactions. And I read every single comment I've gotten so far, and it just makes me so happy to see. So do that. Also follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, both at Kally Coil. I do gaming on Twitch. I try to keep it consistent, but this month's been a bit off. But it's usually every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, unless I am out and about doing something. But yeah, really enjoyed to see you guys over there. And as always, stay frozen. And I will see you guys next month.